The State of Crypto is presented by Tron, connecting the world to the power of cryptocurrency.
Welcome back, everybody. Time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor, Nick Day, who is also editor of CoinDesk State of Crypto newsletter, the must-read newsletter for anybody who's interested in regulation. And he's also our resident rail buff. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Fun fact, I'm doing the Nick track tonight.
Before we talk about Acela, we have the first hearing about Celsius bankruptcy on Monday. So what can we expect here? What are we looking at?
So what's really interesting to me is yesterday we got a little bit more information from Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky, who filed what's called an affirmation. It's basically just him telling the court, okay, here's what we got, here's what we need, here's what we're looking at. And that was the first confirmation that they had they owed $1.2 billion in liabilities. But the numbers also, to some extent, I think, didn't necessarily add up. On the asset side of that document, they said they had $600 million worth of CEL tokens. It's native token. And later in that same document, they noted the entire cell market cap is around 170 million, instead of million or billion, excuse me, but 170, which is a little bit less than 600. Yeah. Tiny bit less, 170 million. They also said that, they anticipate revenue from their mining operations, but our colleague Ion reported yesterday that they have started selling some of their mining equipment. So some of these numbers, I think, at the very, very least, need quite a bit more context before we can really understand what's going on here.
Yeah, it would seem that the asset side of that ledger, for one thing, doesn't take into account current market conditions. It'd be interesting to see where they price that cell token. Does that just raise more red flags for any kind of bankruptcy situation? Like they go, wow, you guys have really overestimated the assets you have compared to your liabilities.
Yeah, I would imagine the cell, just looking at the cell valuation again, because I guess that's kind of like the most in-your-face example. I think they were going by a previous valuation back from months ago when, before any of this happened. Now, if Celsius starts selling its token to repay creditors, unless they do like the mother of all OTC trades, the value is probably going to drop further, which would therefore reduce the value, which would therefore, decrease how much the creditors are getting. So, the question is, are they going to repay their investors in USD? Are they going to repay them in crypto or in some combination? And so if you're an investor, if you're a customer of Celsius, you got to be asking yourself, what, if anything, can you get back? And how are you going to get it back? In what form will that take?
Bro, this is the future of finance.
Any sense of any enforcement actions against these crypto lenders? There were several states who were blocking the services of BlockFi, moving to block the services of Celsius. Anything on the enforcement front now?
Well, what we've heard is that the bankruptcy might delay any specific enforcement actions for a little bit. The regulators and the investigators are going to want to wait for the bankruptcy case to play out. They want to know, what exactly Celsius has at the end of all this before they move. But at the same time, we've also heard that the investigations themselves, as we mentioned yesterday, will continue. So whether or not this leads to an enforcement action is, I think, less the question as it is when this might happen. We do know that multiple state regulators are investigating this. We do know that some of them were investigating prior to the recent events, but now they're going to kind of focus on not just what they were already looking at, which is presumably some of the lending aspects, some of the same issues that they've had with other companies such as BlockFi and Nexo in the past. That they've investigated, but they'll also probably take a look at now, what's going on with these filings, what's going on with this bankruptcy does Celsius have, what is it claiming, what out of these claims is accurate, what are the investors getting back.
So you're taking the Acela this weekend?
I'm just taking the Northeast Regional to Boston.